Hello again, my friends. Another amazing passage today. Let's think about how God sees true greatness. Now, I went on a bit of a journey on what to talk about. I dug into the significance of communion and why we're asked to participate within it until he returns. I was also a little bit unsure about what was meant by cloaks and swords. And if anyone's interested, I'd be very happy to chat on what I found out over a nice cup of tea and maybe some cake. But let's for now pick up on the banter around the Passover meal. The disciples started ribbing one another, arguing which one of them was the greatest. Knowing their hearts were grounded in worldly thinking, Jesus masterfully flipped this discussion upside down to teach them that the heart of a servant was the most important quality for leadership in his new kingdom. He knew that his time among them was coming to an end, and this radically different way of thinking needed to bed down before they were ready for their future gospel mission. Now, let's consider the worst kind of leaders, the tyrant and the manipulator. The tyrant rules through brutality. They force their way to the top through violence and intimidation. By fear and threat, they enforce their control and crush any potential rivals who might challenge them. The manipulator is devious. They plot and they scheme their way to power. Deceit, blackmail, and exploitation are their weapons. They enrich themselves and exhaust all opposition until no one is capable to dethrone them. We can see echoes of these traits in a bad leader. Perhaps there are even traces of them in an earnest one. Isn't it strange how the world tends to promote only bad leaders? How often we're forced into our Hobson's choice of having to pick the best out of a bad bunch. Man looks at the surface, but God looks at the heart. Jesus enacted the very tasks he expected others to take on. He inspired change in action in others, rather than using manipulation or force. You may well have heard the term upside-down kingdom before. Throughout Jesus' ministry, he embodied leadership through service. He showed us through this principle that we too can inspire change in others, and through our service bring glory to God through the fruits that are produced. We're called not to conform to the patterns of this world, but aspire to God's measure of true greatness, a heart of a servant dedicated to him. God bless.